everybody! I'm doing a 60-minute session for a client, so I'm going to be sharing psychic wisdom and energy healing. If any of you are interested in checking out a session with me, you can do so by visiting my website at abbeynormalswisdomquest.com. I want to thank you so very much for the opportunity to connect with you, and thank you for sharing with us here on YouTube. Wow, you have quite a history going on, and I'm so curious to see what this looks like on the energy side of things and see how I'm guided to help you today. All right, I'm going to get started reading, and then I'm going to get into the journey state. So you say, I'm in a lot of confused pain. Dysfunctional family. Mother that many psychics say raped the souls of her children. Totally believable. Just give me a minute here. Right off the bat, you're in a lot of pain and confusion. You have memories and history with family that's dysfunctional. Even a mother that many psychics have said raped the souls of her children, which is totally believable. I mean, that's hardcore right off the bat. Okay. Another very bad event. A Fijian Indian healer in New Zealand picked up that I was a twin flame long before I knew, and on a supposed healing session, smashed my soul in what it felt like 100 pieces. I mean, these two things alone, we need to take a look at these two things. But we'll see how I'm guided here, okay? Because any kind of cleanup, it ties to anything that feels this painful and this memorable and painful. We need to do what we can to neutralize that so you can start to live for yourself now. All right. I couldn't think at all after that when your soul was smashed into 100 pieces. I couldn't think at all. Filthy, evil, manipulative energies. I lost my jobs for over 10 years because my memory was continually wiped. I have worked a lot of energies out of me, but they're still there, and COVID injection is making this worse, bringing my energy to death level again. Can you please clear where they are all breaching my aura? I mean, that's just straight up a lot of chaos going on. Okay, now next, my twin flame has a karmic wife who he lets control every facet of himself. He isn't happy in his marriage, but sucks it up rather than being honest, and is fearful if he leaves his wife, she will do something to herself. And she has used psychics to put demons on him to stay, and we met through work. And he was fearful of me at times and got me out of my job. My money lost, earning capacity cost me my first chance of obtaining residency in Australia. I really love it here, and just having a feeling on even deeper pain and death if I have to leave. I have dreams where my twin comes down to me in a field when he sees me, and the karmic wife is up above us in a house ruling him, holding me below her and them. I have had enough of seeing a man, my twin soul, bow down and keep me down. Please help. Thank you. My spirit needs to be free. I need to sleep and recover from serious fatigue. My heart is blocked and hard, and this was never who I had been. I know something interfered with that and drained it about 3 years ago. Okay. Right now I'm organizing everything that you've shared so that I can get a good grip on how to work through all of this to bring about the most meaningful healing and wisdom I can share with you. Okay. Okay. Here we go. I'm gonna relax now. What can I do to help with the confusion and the pain with the twin soul? With all these memories of the past. With the event where your soul felt like it broke into 100 pieces. With the way that you felt treated by your mother. Okay. I'm going through a tree. It's a really massive black tree. And it's dry. Drier than it should be. And there's a big kind of hole in it. And I have to go through this hole that's not really big enough for me. But it's scraping my face. It's scraping and it hurts my inner ears. And I really don't enjoy this. I feel like I have no choice. I'm going to have to face the tree and the path of this tree. I have to move through it. There's no going around it. There's no climbing over it. There's no digging underneath it. I have to move through it. And the only way to move through it is to go through this really awful path. And it's ripping me. It's full of splinters. Nothing about this is enjoyable, okay? But something in your heart, you know that if you can just get through the worst of it, once you get through this, once you get through this tree and this path, it's going to be a new experience on the other side. But it's a bit blinding. You can't tell where you're at on this path anymore. You can't tell how far through the tree you are. You want to reach the other side of this. It's really been a lot to take, okay? There are some points in the tree where you stop and you turn around and you look back. And when you look back, you see your twin flame, okay? He's always behind you. I actually see him as behind you. And you're covered in all of these splinters. And you do have something within your heart that you would give back to him. That you would take on the splinters and you would take on the pain of the path, if only to help him. To give that as your gift to him. To take more of the pain than he would ever have to take. And I see that he stays behind you and you take on a lot more of the wounding than he does, okay? You're doing this as a gift to him. I feel that there's something like you're vibrationally, it doesn't feel like you're on the same page. There's actually more depth to your energy and more of a wealth of what you want to give back. And it comes from the depths of your heart, where he is more... He actually in the scene is smaller than you. He is more in need of being taken care of in a way. And I feel there's a lacking in the depth coming from him versus what is actually coming from you is like mountain ranges of depth. Vibrationally, he seems more... He's a fully grown man that looks more like the size of a child. And I ask if you both could just take a moment to look into each other's eyes. And I ask also if he could take some of the brunt of the path so that you can have time to heal. Because if this is truly a match, that you need to be in balance with one another. If this is truly a match, then you both must support each other. You must take on the wounding and take turns. It has to come into balance. And I feel like he's not really absorbing the conversation into himself. So let's see what this karmic wife looks like, okay? They say not yet. We're still going to continue to work with you and him, okay? You are actually a doorway encouraging him to grow up. And this isn't in a rude way, because in the scene, he's a fully grown man that is the size of a child. And you're taking on a lot of challenge, but you're reaching out your hand for him, that there's a perfect opportunity for you both to have an interesting life together. And you reach out your hand, but he resists it. I see if he were to actually take your hand, he would grow. He would actually grow. But I feel vibrationally that you may have outgrown him. I feel you've outgrown him. I mean, he's not taking your hand. You're giving of yourself, you're protecting him in ways even. I'm gonna actually just wave my hand so that his energy is sort of diluted into the air, because I just want to focus on you and your path. I also want to see how you react to him not being there anymore, because you're still in the tree and he is too. And I want to see what your life is like without him on the path with you. I'm just gonna see, okay? You actually feel as though you like his presence, and you feel that when you look through his eyes, you see more color in the world. The world is a more colorful place when you see through his eyes, and that he gives back to you in ways that may be different than what you give back to him. So let's say there's something of an inner child energy that there's something, maybe that's why he's like a fully grown man in a childlike body. Maybe he inspires you to feel more of the inner child within you. Maybe he gives you something inside your heart where you want to take the role of being this strong protector, where he can offset what that requires of you by bringing more creative colors into your sensory experience. But let me continue to watch here. I keep looking. I mean, I'm giving this the benefit of the doubt, but vibrationally, I feel like you both have had your time and you've learned what you've needed to learn. And I feel that there's more for you that you don't, you're yet to be introduced to yet, okay? That something good still, I mean, it's hard to talk about these types of relationships sometimes, because I don't want to be the cause of a heartbreak or a decision to do something because I see it this way. I want you to always follow your heart, okay? Okay. Yeah. Still vibrationally, it's not enough. He's not able to, the balance is definitely not there. It's completely not there. He's not ever going to meet your needs. Never will. You're going to have to let him go. You're really angry and you blame him that you both can't be together. You blame him for that. I don't know that is his fault, to be honest, or that it's this karmic wife's fault. It's like, don't blame him at all. I would take the blame and I'd let it go and just let him make the decisions that are appropriate for him right now, and let his karmic wife treat him however she wants, and he can put up with that or not put up with that. That's his decision. It has nothing to do with you at this point. you can move forward. You don't have to move forward with him. You don't. It's okay, because we're living in a universe full of our dearest friends incarnate. And you're a twin flame, and this is your twin flame, and you have to be together isn't true. It's not true. You got to know each other. And it's either going to work or it's not. And you're both going to make that decision inside yourself, and then you go in whatever direction next. I feel like there's more pain that is being created that's unnecessary because of a commitment to something that cannot be committed to you. So to him, he cannot be committed to you. And you're going to have to accept that. And actually, once you do accept that, I feel like abundance is on the other side of this. Because you're holding on to a relationship that isn't balanced or healthy. Because then if it's not balanced or healthy, then it's broken. You're holding on to something that doesn't fit, it isn't function, it is broken, it is then toxic, it is poisonous. It's altering the energetic caliber of what healthy is. So the relationship is bringing something unhealthy into your life that you can't let go. You got to let go of this unhealthy relationship because it's not balanced. You're not together. And I see that you are going to grow in a substantial ways when you make that choice, if you can, okay? That's entirely up to you. Just follow your heart, see what feels right here. But that's what the energies are showing me, okay? Ask you if you're okay saying goodbye. Give him a hug. Tell him you'll always love him. Thank him for being a part of your life. Be grateful in your heart. Let him work with his karmic wife. My guides are telling me that you would want me to talk to his karmic wife to get her to make a change or a difference, because what she's doing is preventing something beautiful love from developing. But what if it's his lesson to be able to stand up to her? It's not her lesson to stop her behavior. What if she is this solid stone that he needs to face to choose for something better for himself? Maybe he needs to work on self-worth, and that's why she's in his life, so that he can work on self-worth. Where you would say, well, I'm here to help him work on self-worth because I actually care and I actually love him in a genuine way. I can actually give that to him in a way where there doesn't have to be suffering. He's choosing suffering. He's choosing this. If he's able to overcome it, he's worthy of you. Okay, you're both in balance now. You can do this thing, but he's not making that choice. So my guides, let me feel this out. If it feels vibrationally correct to go visit her, okay? Something makes me feel like it doesn't feel correct to me. It's actually going to make you stronger by you deciding for yourself in your own heart what's actually growing here or what is not growing here. Not because I went to his wife, but because I helped you to see where you're both at with each other on the path. And you to find the answer inside yourself is going to make you that much stronger to follow your heart here, okay? But I'll keep it open, all right? And we'll just see. But let's keep moving forward. Because this shattered soul event and the dysfunctional mother and family is something we need to look at, okay? You really want this to be just about you and your twin. You're like, I don't want to. I want my twin to be in my life, and go talk to his karmic wife and tell her to let him go. I say, I'm leaving the door open. So let's just take a break from this exploration, but I'm willing to return to it and just see, let's keep moving forward. And then as we move forward, we'll shift the energy some more and see if it's appropriate, if I can go back, okay? So let's keep moving forward. You love him with all your heart. You feel you don't want to let him go. I start to laugh because it's like, the karmic wife doesn't want to let him go, and you don't want to let him go. He's in the middle of two ladies. He's in a love triangle. He's not letting go of his karmic wife. You're not letting him go, and she's not letting him go. You see why the energies are so jammed up, and that's why you're going to have to leave him to his karmic wife. That's what he's been choosing all along. It shows me this yet again, okay? I'm going to clear his energy so that you can focus on something else now, because we need to go look at something else now. We can always come back to him, but let's keep moving. I want to know about this Fiji guy, okay? This hundreds pieces of your soul. I want to know more about this. This is when you found out you were a twin. It's a weird place. This guy's energy, this Fiji guy is... You are onto something with that, by the way. I'm literally walking through a space that made out of pieces. But they look like pieces of pottery that shattered. And there's like hundreds of different colored pieces of pottery that are all meticulously put together. It's like some people have a bathroom that has these like little pieces of tile, and it looks pretty cool. It's like different shapes, and it's just like, must have taken so much time to put that all down and do the grout work and all that, but it looks really cool. And this place is full of just pieces, okay? And I see he's talking to himself in like hums, and he's kind of humming or drumming at the same time, but it's more like a humming sound. And it's funny because I was gonna say it just feels like he's got a chip on his shoulder. He's in a room full of chips. Of course he's got a chip on his shoulder. But that means that he's a little bit self-absorbed. Because I'm coming over here and he's like the great. He's Fiji guy the great, okay? So I'm like walking into the presence of the great Fiji guy. I'm just like, I don't even know you yet. Like, what makes you so great? I mean, the grout work and the chips is pretty cool, yeah, but I don't get the impression you did you do that? Like, why is it like this? Who are you? Oh, I bring your soul in here and I say you need to talk. You both need to talk. He doesn't feel responsible. He's just swirling around, and he's just not gonna give this a time of day. He just keeps swirling around like this. And I ask you, what does that mean to you? How does that make you feel? And you have a guitar, and you take the guitar and you go wank, and you just right on his head. It's so funny. You just do that, and I hear these like strings go doink, and it's really funny. I want to see what he says. He's really offended by that. He says, you don't have a right to do that. And I say, she's saying that you smashed her soul into 100 pieces. So she wants to smash a guitar over your head. I mean, I'm waiting. You both are working this out. I'm just going to kind of stand on the side and see what comes next. He's quite vague. He's very thin. He doesn't go into detail. He's basically half, ASS. He does things half. That's why all these broken pieces, because he doesn't complete his work. He just does it in a portion of work. Like, it's like the recipe calls for a full cup of milk, but he's only gonna put 1/4 cup, like a quarter cup in, okay? So he's only works with portions. He doesn't work with the whole, okay? But there's something odd to the way he works with portions, that there may be something I'm asking, because he's putting the portions together and creating something with it. But I still feel like he keeps everything in pieces and separated. You're onto something about how that experience made you feel. There's definitely a parallel here, okay? I tell you what he's not going to tell you. I say many things. As I start to speak it, it's like my voice starts to slow down and become extremely dense and low, almost like you can't hear me. Because I see that he's just really eyes wide and he's watching this. He's really intently listening. And I ask my guides, why am I not allowed to explain the answer to this? Your higher self comes down and your higher self just blots him right out. It's like, let's say we have legal documents and oops, I made a scribble here, or I gotta white that out. Instead of whiting him out, we just spill the ink on him and he just becomes blotted out. I don't know why, but that's what happens. And your higher self comes down and asks you, are you beneath this man? Are you beneath his feet? Do you exist beneath his feet? Because your higher self is showing you that he's providing you with a lesson, that you can remedy this lesson whenever you're ready, as soon as you decide to grow out from beneath his feet. You will pull all your pieces back together again. And there's something about your own self-worth that has been shattered. And perhaps that's why you were attracted to what he provides, because he is a mirror into something that you need to see about yourself. So while this is the hard way and the painful way, you have the ability to remedy it by discovering your personal power. That you can pull all those parts of your soul back and you can grow beyond him and what he provided. Simply by growing yourself, right? You just grow yourself, and it's not about who is beneath whose feet. It's about, I am picking up the pieces of myself. I am not shattered. I am completely put together, and nothing that you are can shatter me. Only I can shatter myself. Wow, thank you. You've taught me something really important. I needed to know that. Thank you so much for that. Now, once you choose to be grateful for this weird learning, you won't see him as a jerk or less than or anything, or you are beneath his feet. You'll just see it as one of many experiences. And now you've become well-rounded and whole from that exchange, okay? Now you are whole. Now you are whole, okay? Now you are whole. And we can shake hands and say, thank you. You helped me to see. And I picked up the pieces of myself, and now I'm moving on. I don't feel vibrationally like I would ever feel attracted to what you have to share, because I don't relate to being in pieces. I relate to picking up the pieces. So now you've grown. It's almost like I'm looking back here at your twin, who is still working on knowing that he too can grow, as you are still working on learning that you too can grow. And here's an opportunity for you to grow, and you are choosing growth. You actually are listening to your higher self, and you are picking up the pieces, and you are growing. Okay. He's struggling to grow. He's struggling. You already know that. You already see that he struggles to grow. If he could just make this decision, you both could go on and have some beautiful experience together. But your lesson may be in accepting the pace at which he is choosing to grow. Because you can't force him to grow faster than he's capable of growing. And nobody is at a loss. So if you're not able to be together in this life, that is not a loss, okay? It's just an exploration. And now you open the door to what you didn't see and what's still available for you, which might blow your freaking mind in all the right ways. Okay. We're kind of in the tree here, and there's your twin, and I'm going to move on to the dysfunctional family, okay? Your mother. This is hardcore stuff. And I really value you for the courage to share these experiences with us and just being open, because this is really unique. This is really unique. The experiences that you've been through are definitely real, that have harmed you on a spiritual level too, on a soul level. And you're working through life as a practical and spiritual experience. So, it's really unique. So let's go ahead and see. Again, another person that you've outgrown. You have outgrown a lot of people. You are you're a big deal, man. You've really conquered a lot, but why you're still in pain and confusion is because you're not allowing yourself to acknowledge that you've outgrown all this stuff. You've actually outgrown all this stuff, but you're not allowing yourself to own it that you have. And I understand why. It's like when you choose to realize that you've always been strong and you've always been stronger than all this, but there's a certain level of responsibility that comes with outgrowing things, moving on from people that you had dreams and visions and you knew it was going to be perfect and beautiful, and it never happens for all the dumbest reasons. It's okay, all right? But when you discover how much you've grown and let yourself step into those shoes, I feel like there is a lot more for you to discover in this life, and it's going to be really special. Because when you discover how much you've grown, you'll discover how special you are. After all this stuff, you're discovering how special you are. And you're really able to just look in the mirror and say, wow, what an incredible person. I'm an incredible person, and I have really grown beyond the Fijian healer, my twin, this dysfunctional family. Look at me go. You know what I mean? All right, let's keep looking at this. All right, so my first experience with your mother isn't as a rapist. It's more of a woman crying right now, okay? She's a ghostly form, an energy being form, and she's crying on a bedside, okay? Her hands are stuck to her face. And because I come in and I expect her to remove her hands and to look at me, but her hands are literally, and her face are attached, okay? It's kind of disturbing to see it. She can't remove her hands from her eyes, from her face. And I see that she wants her energy to be the first thing anybody sees, because what is connected to her behind her is a big, big problem. And it's more like God, like a weird hook in her sacral chakra is just coming up through the root into the sacral chakra, and it's just a big, blobulous, monstery looking thing. And I see that this thing moves its consciousness through that connector and through her root and sacral chakra, and then it speaks through her. And only when it speaks through her can her hands remove from her face and her eyes. And I see that this is quite scary, because you're not really getting to hear from your mother. You're hearing from some sort of disturbing attachment. Like, I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt here. Let me just remove this thing from your root sacral. Let me just do this. There you go. 2 people now. Let's see here. She doesn't know how to be herself, so she has to be something else. And I ask her, why do you not know how to be something of yourself? I mean, you're completely not yourself. Like, what are you? And she's lost her consciousness to time and the shifting of her mind moves from her body to this being, and through this being it moves back to her, and she has a hard time constructing her own concept of who she is. I'm wondering if she had to, in a way, let's just say, what if she had some real terrifying or difficult experiences growing up herself, and she had to put on the mask or the appearance of something tough or strong, or scary, and something that wasn't her, in order to get through this. And she lost herself to that. And so what if the mother you've known was never actually your mother? What if it was something that she worked with in order to survive her own life? And that who you then got to meet was actually her survival support being. And she never was able to let go of it. Again, this concept of letting go of things is coming up, and you have the power to let go of anything you want to let go of, and to recreate the ending of that story. The ending of the story with the Fiji guy is you're not shattered into 100 pieces at all. You outgrew him, all the pieces solidified, and you became your beautiful self as you always were, only to understand how life itself had made you feel shattered. And it's almost like people have caused you to feel that way. But that's also only because it was your opportunity to realize how strong and self-sufficient you are. I ask you if there's anything you want to say to your mom, or, I mean, is there anything I can do to help, or... You don't trust her at all. I say, just let your mom go. See that your mom is in a really bright and high vibrational space, that her spirit is. And whatever this is what you're going to talk to then. And when you choose to talk to your mom, hear the brightest side of your mom's spirit. Get to know the actual real her. And if that's in the spirit realm, actually explore what your mother as the highest vibrational version of herself would sound like, and actually choose to hear that, because you're not going to choose to hear the lower vibrational version of herself, or whatever was attached to her isn't really her. And that might even give her the strength to be who she really is. Thanks to you. Again, you're proving yourself to be self-sufficient, powerful, and influential. All right, so let's see. You say you don't have the time of day for that big black gross energy. It's just a blobulous, gross, nasty, it's the weirdest thing. But you do the unexpected. You pause for a minute and you say, you know what, something's coming to me about this. And your mom's body in this scene is more like a skin, and the skin just is like some clothing or something. Skin's like clothing, and you just take the clothing off the hook, which is this weird monstery thing. I'd separated them, but it just keeps coming back together again. So anyway, you just kind of toss it to the side, and then you go through this being as it's like an interdimensional doorway, and you say, I'm going to go get my mom's spirit out of this thing's belly. And you remember the tree and the very uncomfortable path that it provided you, and how even when you were in pain, you were trying to shelter your twin. You were trying to help. You were trying to do things to help others. Even when you were in pain, you were doing this. And you say that you know how to go through pain and help others. And now that you realize that, you don't have to be in pain in order to help others. You're just strong now. You're just strong. So you go through this thing, and I see a little tiny, it's kind of like a jelly bean, that it's larger. I mean, it's like 6 inches. It's oval shape, but it's like a jelly bean, and it's kind of a pretty whitish, kind of ghostly looking color, but it does glow, and it is really pretty to look at. And you pick it up, and it's a little statue. And you say that this does not belong to you, to this monstery thing. And you walk out of it with this. And I see that this statue is covered in a liquidy goo, and it's a little tiny person who is coughing. And you put this person into their body. And you say, you need to be who you are, and don't be afraid to be yourself, Mom. And we're talking about her true self is a very loving person. But her manipulated self is a manipulative energy. She has a long ways to go. I mean, this could take some lifetimes even to reorganize her identity and her relationship with her soul. It feels like she's been really kind of lost along the way. Really lost. I feel like you have way more clarity than you give yourself credit for. I feel like you're way less lost. And maybe you're only lost because things in your life aren't as you had wanted them to be. And if they could just be the way you want them to be, then you would know that you're on the right track. But actually, things not being the way you want them to be may just be the way they were meant to be. And as soon as you realize that that's okay, you won't be confused or in pain anymore. You won't be. You're going to give yourself permission to be strong in who you are. That's literally what I'm being shown here. Let's go back to your twin, okay? You're out of the tree. You're not even in the tree now. Because you're not on a path of pain anymore. You're on the path of realizing how strong you are. You're not at all on a path of pain and suffering at all. That path it ran its course. It helped you to become strong. You realized the power of who you are, and you don't need the pain to become that. It's what is this tree? It's a baobab tree? Why have I heard that from somewhere? It's a very odd looking tree. Let me just see if that is about right. I'm gonna look up the images here. It's freaking weird, man. It's a weird tree, but it's really ridiculously thick. And I mean, it's horizon level thing. Like it's there's only one way, and that's through it, okay? You're on the other side. And you can take pride in your achievements. And you haven't let anybody down. And there's nobody that has let you down. Because the people that have been in your life are as strong as they can be. And they are who they are. But you are who you are. Okay? You feel uncomfortable because your twin is in the inside of that tree still and you can't go back. Okay, I say that's good. You can't go back for a reason. That's good. You say it isn't because there's something unfulfilled in your heart about this. Again, it goes to show the caring person that you are. You want to nurture and take care of people. But you have to give them room to grow for themselves as well. You know what's amazing? Is since you've been outside the tree, since you've had distance and separation from your twin, you're getting, like, your head is becoming clear, and you want to go to the ocean, and you want to spend some time talking to the spirit of the ocean. You show me this. You're on the beach, you're talking to the spirit of the ocean, and you're just choosing to breathe and be in a relationship with yourself right now. Because something of you feels bright, and it's been a very long time since you felt this genuinely true to who you are, and you feel accomplished and you feel bright, and you want to share that experience with the ocean. And the ocean asks you to walk into its waters. So you do. And it's like we're on a beach where people are doing their own thing in your own world. Like you're like in some sort of other dimension talking to spirit, and nobody has any idea. Like they're all doing this practical beach stuff, and you're like in this hypnotized state going into the waters of the ocean to commune with the spirit of the ocean. Like you're in another world. It's pretty cool though. It's legit. And so you're going into those waters, and you see a very massive black shark, okay? And it's all in your vision. But the shark just moves through you, and it disappears, and you're a bit surprised. And the ocean wants you to think about what that's saying. What does that mean? You're not going to let anybody hurt you anymore. That's what that means. You're not going to let anybody hurt you anymore. But some of that is you're not going to hurt yourself either. And there are no letdowns. And that shark is there to show you how far you've come. Because the shark is only to show you how far you've come. There was no attack, there was no torment, there was no threat. It was only threatening insofar as it surprised you, moved through you, disappeared. And it represents your growth. Nobody's going to hurt you anymore, and you will not hurt yourself anymore. And there's nothing to be confused about with that. You ask the ocean if you can be peaceful now. You don't have really high hopes of finding a soulmate or someone to share your life with. And we need to work on that. That energy is not clean. It's foggy. It's not who you are. It's not a representation of who you are. Because, my gosh, look at who you are. You're a strong person, that actually wants to endure the pain to help somebody out. Like, wow, how much you give. Like, you're giving so much of yourself. But it's almost like it's just clearing your head. It's just clearing your senses. It's adjusting to life in a new way and who you are now after all these years. And I see you genuinely, you seeing a sparkle in yourself and genuinely caring about yourself. And that fog, it doesn't matter. Fog does lift because it doesn't matter. There's no loss here. There's no loss. It's not whether or not you find someone to share your life with or not, because there is such a wholeness in your soul that if that happens, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I'm not going to, it's like I'm going to choose to enjoy the time I have with who I am. And that's kind of where this is at. I'm going to let you remain in this really healthy space. I mean, I actually see you have, it's a really adorable little, like, it's kind of like a tiki hut or something. And it's like open windows and the like the fresh ocean breeze is blowing through. And it's like your little adorable home by the ocean. It's just like a surreal scene. But there's some kind of cleansing and purification of your soul that you feel, and it really represents itself in this scene. It's really clean, and it's really close to the spirit of the earth and in nature and the ocean. It's really refreshing, okay? So I'm gonna let you enjoy this space. And I'm going to do this. Because you feel vibrationally like a new person now. We're going to go check on your twin in this baobab tree, okay? It's black. It looks like an eggplant, which is a really dark purple. But this is like dark purple to almost black, and it's an enormous trunk, okay? I do see that when you choose to let him go, he feels a sense of relief because he can start to focus on his life without any distraction. Because he does hold a bit of responsibility for your happiness. And he doesn't know that he can ever complete you in the way that you would want to experience that with him, because he's still tied to another soul, you know? And he does feel a responsibility to that. He does. And that's actually an honorable thing. He does feel a responsibility to that. It is an honorable thing. He will always wish you well. He'll always send light to you. He'll always be grateful for you. And in a way, this is clearing for his own soul and his own senses, even his consciousness. And it's vibrationally healthy. It's very vibrationally healthy. What his choices are, as you choose yourself or choose to move forward, there's no hard feelings at all. And he feels like he can move forward too with the way his life is. And I mean, I see you in two separate realities. Like, you're not living down the street. I see you in one side, and he's like almost like two separate worlds. Like, you're not living close by. And that's what helps to the distance is what helps you both to move in new directions. I mean, I kind of see why going to his wife isn't really going to matter, because she has work to do on herself. I mean, if anything we're learning here is that everybody's got something going on. We all have something to work on. So what is his connection with her? Why does he feel responsible for her? Your twin. He feels, just hear me out. This is what he says, is that in a weird way, I mean, this is literally what he says. He feels like who she is, he feels slightly responsible for that. I see her as a strange white worm, and I see he needs to take care of this worm. And he feels a responsibility and an obligation to do so. Part of the why you don't want to allow him to be self-manipulated like this is because you've allowed yourself to be self-manipulated. And you've actually grown, and you know deep down inside, and you don't want him to waste any more of his time in a self-manipulated state, because it's not doing you any good, it's not doing him any good. What's interesting, this is the you from inside the baobab tree. You were deep down inside aware of self-manipulated decisions that hold you back. Only now that we're moving on am I able to go and actually take a look at this, because you don't want the possibility of your relationship to be him making a self-manipulated choice. He doesn't owe her anything. And she doesn't owe him anything. I mean, love is balanced. You don't owe anybody anything. Love is a balanced choice. Nobody owes the other any more than the other owes them. You know, it's a balanced choice. And if we put all our weight on our companion, then that's not balance. Or they put all their weight on us and we choose to carry that weight, that's not balance either. Then there's learning to be had on both sides. You're going to have to be okay with him, whatever decisions that he chooses to make. There's going to have to be a final conversation here at some point where you decide, I want to keep trying, or I'm gonna go find who I am now. I've been doing this for long enough. And love is strong enough that it can let somebody go. And let him work through this in his own time and in his own way. And no disappointment, okay? I want to go look at your heart, because you were saying it felt hard, and this isn't the you that you'd been, I mean, in your life, like, especially in the last 3 years. I mean, I can tell you've got a lot of interesting sides to your story, so let's see what your heart looks like. Again, plenty of room to heal this here. It's kind of like wood that somebody took and snapped, and it's got all these like jagged sides, and they kind of are like teeth. If you were to kind of put it together, it's almost like a mouth with really sharp teeth. It's a silent, this has to do with your throat chakra too. This is literally a mouth. There's a mouth with sharp teeth in your throat, and it speaks silently. But I feel like this is about pain and anger. And a silent throat, a silent voice, something like this. Because it's reminding me of a mouth, it's reminding me of the throat chakra. It's reminding me of a communication, but there is no communication, and it's just jagged teeth that just kind of open and close and open and close, and it hurts. There's pain involved with this, And there's silent anger. Ask you if you can let this go now. You feel a bit tied up. You feel kind of tied up and congested with other people's crap, basically. I say you're not, though. You don't owe anybody anything. They don't owe you anything. You're not tied up in anybody's crap. That was your own self-manipulated viewpoint. You say, I understand. I'm not sure how to feel not tied to anybody. So what do you want? Whatever you want from that person is what you ties you to them. Whatever you're hurt by or upset, all of those energies tie us to people. I can't forgive you for this. You're never going to change, and I still have to deal with you. Like, these are all unresolved emotions that tie us to people. Even dreams like, but we should be together, and if we could be together, it'd be beautiful, and I can't let go of that possibility. That's tying again to somebody. And when you let go of all the ties, nobody owes you anything. They don't owe you. It's like, you could say that some family members made some really terrible decisions that have really traumatized me, but I'm gonna forgive them, and I don't want any. I'm moving on. I'm disconnecting from this because I'm gonna choose to see all of this as what built the incredible me, and I could only be grateful it worked out in this weird way. But I'm going to work on, I don't want any ties to any of this because it just doesn't relate to who I am. Who I am does not relate to any of these ties. And I'm going to be okay with the way things are right now, because the way things are right now is the most beautiful and most powerful that things could ever be. Wow, that was really a strongly stated statement here, because your heart is actually opening up more. You need something good to believe in. And you are the goodness that you can believe in. Because I see you standing in your heart and you're wanting to heal your heart. And I see you as good, as a goodness. Do you feel like, I see you inhaling and exhaling what is like this is some kind of weird, gross energy that's always sort of contaminating you. You feel like you can't ever get out of the way of some kind of gooey energy that surrounds you and just makes you feel contaminated. And maybe that has to do with the COVID shot. It's just because there's something like infectious about it. There's something kind of like that about it. I'm going to show you that the COVID shot is like this Fiji guy in the pieces. You're not beneath the foot of the COVID shot. Look at the courageous you that got through the path of the baobab tree. You are bigger than this, and it is smaller than you. Emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, in all ways, shape, and form, it is really minute. And you have conquered so much, and you are grand. You are on the grand scale of things are extraordinary. And don't move your consciousness, because how you move your mind, where you place your mind and your perceptions of things is going to directly impact how you process, digest, or relate to things. You will put your mind beneath the surface of whatever you decide is more powerful than, or influencing you in some negative way, but the only thing that's influencing you in a negative way is yourself and your perception of things. So you always have to be stronger than anything else. And that doesn't have to be like an eye roll, like, I'm so sick of having to be stronger than everything else. This is just so annoying, right? No, don't, doesn't have to be the eye roll. That's actually what makes you so wonderful. Because we admire you for who you are. Because not everybody can be so strong as you. So when you choose to say, I am strong enough to be stronger than the COVID shot, you're going to alter your relationship with what it represents to you deep down inside, okay? It's like we feel we're at the will of things. We aren't. We are masters of the universe. We decide what our relationship is going to be with anything and everything. And some things are going to take us down for the count. Some things are. But that's only going to make us stronger, not weaker. And if we end up dying from it, that's just a transition to the next strong pathway. Like nothing is truly weakening us. Nothing is. It's only ever making us stronger. Okay, so it's gross. Like I'm looking at you, you're covered in a goop. It's a greenish color and it's kind of like always on your skin. And it makes it feels like you're struggling to breathe and there's just pressure on your heart. There's more compartments of self-realization to be had here. Because it's almost like I put you in a scene where we're on the beach and you're just running free. And the sensation of just running free like a wild horse, it gives your heart a new emotion and feeling to digest. Have you ever felt in your whole life that you could run free like a wild horse? Because if you were to imagine yourself running free like a wild horse, it would really heal your heart energy a lot. I'm not saying that this journey, this energy work, this perspective is going to give you a lot to work with. And I feel like it's really going to kind of start a major detox for you of your energy field. And just let this happen, okay? I'm not saying that snap my fingers and everything's going to just magically just be awesome. But it already is magically that awesome. It's just catching up with the reality that it is. Takes time to adjust all of your energy calibers to the new way of things. As you are free to be yourself, where your mother was not. She chose to feel consumed by something. You are free to be yourself. You are not in pieces, you are whole. You are stronger than you know, and now you know it, so you can be the strong person that you are. You've moved through the path of pain, and now you are not choosing pain, and nobody will dish out the pain for you, okay? We're getting caught up with the ocean and the shark here. We're understanding that love is infinite and doesn't have to be deduced down to just one person. And we can support that person because we care about them, but in the end, they have to make the decisions for themselves. And sometimes we have to make the hard decisions that are also the right decisions. And life isn't just this one story. Like it has to be this way for it to be good. It's the surprise that leads us into what we didn't expect that ends up being even better. So you have a lot of exciting things to catch up on. And I have a feeling this session is going to be really empowering and cleansing and detoxing for your whole energy field, for your heart, for your self empowerment, self-reflection, for your identity, just everything about your life. I feel like you're getting caught up with just something extraordinary about who you are and everything. All right, that's all I can share. Thank you very much for this. Thank you again for sharing. And everybody watching, thank you for taking the time to explore the session from beginning to end. Thank you for your love and support of my clients and my YouTube channel. I hope you all have a wonderful day.